Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and I have a fun package today. It's a box of fresh cookies shipped all the way from Korea, South Korea, over the course of several weeks on a boat. Man, I sure hope they haven't gone stale. Anyway, let us have a look at what we have in here. I wonder what kind they could be. Chocolate chip, macadamia nut, hazelnut, just good old macarons or something like that. Wait a minute. Oh, it's those cookies. So a quick disclaimer, I spend this entire video referring to Ginger Brave and Ginger Bright as Cookie Brave and Cookie Bright. Please forgive me, fandom. Cookie Run is a Korean mobile game franchise owned by Studio Dev Sisters that started almost 15 years ago as Oven Break, a 2D endless runner where you play as the gingerbread man from that fairy tale running away from the evil witch from that other fairy tale. It's always been simmering away, adding more cookies based on other recipes or ideas, but it hit a new spike in popularity with the release of Cookie Run Kingdom back in 2021, which is Raid Shadow Legends but with cookies. A lot less stingy than Raid, though. I mean, I don't think I've put in $1 into this game, and yet I'm pretty strapped. Okay, yeah, maybe I've put some time into this. And now that I think about it, if it's a society of cookies, would that make Cookie Monster their Godzilla? On the other hand, it does have cookies that look like this. Yeah, take that as you will. Still, it's a cute, inoffensive, and generally family-friendly series that is insanely popular in its home country of Korea. I mean, it's got spin-offs, merchandise, a TV show on the way apparently, and, of course, a trading card game, Cookie Run Braverse. The game itself is based on all of these cookies that exist in the video games. There are easily at least 100 cookies to base cards off of, though what comes as a surprise is the fact that despite being yet another game with an any card as resource system, it's actually a Pokemon-alike. Anyway, a quick disclaimer, currently the game is only available in Korean. It's not going to be available in English until February of next year, so a lot of these translations and names for these cards are easily subject to change. I cannot read Korean, even though I know basic Japanese. They are two very different languages as far as writing is concerned, so yeah, I am going to be mentioning the various effects and names of these cards, but they might differ from how they are in the English version. Rather than trying to deplete an opponent's life points, Pokemon-alikes are defined by knocking out an opponent's minions in order to win. They also kind of have the opposite synergy to Magic, where playing the character is free to do, it's getting them to actually fight that costs resources. In Braverse, you can have up to 2 cookies in play at a time. When a cookie is played, you draw cards from the top of your deck and place them face down below them equal to their HP score. When a cookie takes damage, those cards get revealed, then moved to the discard pile. When a cookie runs out of HP, it is sent to the break area. If 10 levels worth of cookies end up in your break area, you lose. If you have no cookies in play, you must play one from your hand, or again, you lose. To fight with cookies, you need resources. Once per turn, you can put any card from your hand into your resource row face up. These are used to pay for your cookies' attacks and abilities. Rather than attaching energy cards, you pay the cost like casting a spell in Magic, meaning defeated cookies don't take their energy with them. It means you have a balancing act between paying resources to fight and keeping them handy to play item, trap, and stage cards. The energy threshold is low, even as little as 3 energy can run you pretty well, so the strain on hand size isn't as bad as it is with other games. Cookies being free to play also helps. And yes, there's flip cards. Any flip cards revealed during damage lets you apply their effect, from card draw to healing to... really, that's all this deck had in it. As of now, only the starter decks are available. There will be another set coming out next month, but these have been out for about a month and it's all we have to go with, so... And speaking of the deck, let us have a look at this one. So this is one of the 3 starter decks that are available. They have red, blue, and yellow so far, I believe. The number of colors is going to go up to 5 when they start introducing booster packs. I assume that set is also going to come with the starter decks in the remaining colors, but this is the red deck, although it's, from what I have been told, it's called the Sun-Kissed deck. And to my understanding, this is actually phonetically written. This is the word Sun-Kissed written in Korean in the best way it can pronounce the English word sun-kissed. Although is that 2 words or 1 word, or is it hyphenated? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not necessarily good at catching on to that because, like I said, I know Japanese, and Japanese has a separate alphabet for non-Japanese words. So anyway, so this is our red deck. It is a 60 card deck, although it's 61 when you consider that it also comes with a promo card inside, which we are going to get a look at when I open it up. I have the list here in Korean. Here is the list in English on the screen now. Like I said, this is translated from Korean, so there is a very good chance that it will look different from then. Okay, so this is we have the back of the box here. We have the pictures of some of the characters, which is always nice to see. It has the cover card on here as well. The cover card is foil. It's espresso cookie, and I'm not sure what this says. The best the translator got was, I think, you know, run with great power or something like that, because it is called Cookie Run. So it's like use great power for your run or something like that. I think it's supposed to be a play on words there. We have a QR code on learning how to play, and let's take a look in here. So it is a reusable box that you don't have to destroy to open, so it's not tamper evident. Although something kind of interesting is that rather than a plastic backer, it actually has a cardboard one. This is, again, a QR code designed to scan to go and look up the how to play rules. The how to play rules are currently Korean only, but they do have English subtitles, and considering the tone that they are written in, it seems to me that the English rules were written by hand. Those aren't subtitles generated at random. They were written by hand, so we're probably going to see that same script coming up in the American version, although it's a very basic and dry how to play. I'm still a fan of the tutorials that show, like, the fun of the game as well. Like, if we could have, like, Cookie Brave and Cookie Bright, like, having a game against each other, that would be neat. Speaking of Cookie Bright, we have our promo here. This is included with the first run of the deck. This is Cookie Bright. She is a level 1 cookie with 3 health, hence why her attack costs 2. 3 health is very good for a level 1 cookie. Her attack costs 2 for only 1 damage, but she has the effect that if you have 3 or fewer cards in your hand, you increase the damage dealt by this cookie by 1. So this seems like a very good card for red, mostly because of its durability. So we have our rule book. Always good to see. Like I said, I've linked the how to play video from this whole thing, so we have a good look at how to play the rules here. But the rule sheet is separate from the playmat. Applause, applause. I always love it when the playmat is separate from the rule book. So we have, you know, we have our, am I holding it up? No, I'm holding it up right side up. So this is we have our break area here, we have our turn order, we have our deck and discard, we have our cookie zone, we have our resource zone, and on the back is, oh, it's red, what, did I say red, blue, and yellow? It's red, yellow, and green. But yeah, the back of this deck has advice on how to use the deck. So you see this, like, advice on how to use the deck on the back of a playmat, I think is fine. It's something you peruse as you get started. So let's take a look at the red deck itself. Alright, so we have our cookie deck wrapped up in this sort of waistband here. I've seen a lot of games use this recently. So, starting off, we have Espresso Cookie. I am going to be, like I said, I'm going to be working off of translations here. Half of it's going to be from memory, half of it's going to be looking up on my phone. Espresso Cookie is a level 3, 5 hit point cookie with a special ability that if you have 6 or more levels in your break area, his damage goes up by 1. His attack costs 3 fire and does 3 damage. So if you, this is supposed to be like a late game card, this is your finisher card, he swings for 4. If you combine him with some other cards in here, he swings for 5, which is lethal on most cookies. So like I said, this guy is like your late game win condition card. Up next we have Pepperoncino Cookie. He is a vanilla, 3 vanilla energy for 3 damage. So he's a card you can splash into any deck. Level 3, 6 hit points, pretty tough. He is one of the few characters that can survive Espresso Cookie's attack. It's also in foil. So the cards in this deck are either in quantities of 2 or of 4. This is a 4 card playset game. So you would need just 2 copies of the deck to get everything except for copies of Cookie Bright. So Up next we have Princess Cookie. She's also a vanilla card, a vanilla cookie, although vanilla cookies aren't in this deck. I think vanilla cookie would probably be in yellow. Make it very confusing. I can't call them vanilla cards because there are, I believe, at least 2 cookies called vanilla. So this is Princess Cookie, level 2, 2 hit points, 2 energy for 2 attacks. She, her stats are a little lower than normal, but it's because she's a flip card. Her flip effect, to what I understand, is when she gets flipped, you can discard a card from your hand to basically heal the point of damage that was lost. So you can give your cookie some surprising longevity using Princess Cookie, and you get 4 Princess Cookies. So we have here Ninja Cookie, and him I'm gonna have to double check. So I do remember like the names of these characters, I just might struggle a little bit in remembering their effects. So where are you, Ninja Cookie? Ninja Cookie, when you play it, if your break area is level 6 or higher, select up to one of your opponent's cookies. Okay, so it is a generic 2-cost 2 attack, but on play for 1 extra fire energy. When you play it, if you have 6 or more levels in your break area, you can do 1 damage to an opposing cookie. So red has a lot of power up. Red has a bit of direct damage. Okay, I know it's hard to see in Korean, but this is probably one of the best names of any cards in the game. This is Dinosaur Cookie. It's a sour dinosaur, so dinosaur, a lovely, lovely, beloved pun, very good. So it is a level 2, only 1 hit point. Its attack actually costs 3 to do 2 damage, but that's because it has a special attack at the top here. For 2 fire and 2 generic, you can attack with this card, and it can attack both targets for 2. So this is another like win condition card. This is one that you stack with like additional effects to boost damage. This thing is just a nightmare when it hits the field. It doesn't last long at 1 hit point, although I think that means it combos really nicely with another card in the deck, just, you know, out of the box. Carrot Cookie. Oddly enough, it's not called Carrot Cake Cookie. It's just Carrot Cookie, which is a bit odd. It has a flip effect. It's the same flip effect as Princess Cookie. Level 1, 1 hit point, 1 energy for 1 damage, so it's literally just half the card Princess Cookie is. Pretty straight up. Up next we have Negi Cookie, or Leek Cookie. It's Green Onion Cookie, but I believe they call it Leek Cookie in the actual game. We have a level 2, 3 hit points, generic energy for 1 damage. So a generic, slightly tougher cookie, a tough cookie. that's hilarious. Okay, Ginger Bright, we have level 2, so a bit tougher than this one, but it takes 2 energy to inflict 1 damage for slightly more hit points. So you have a balance between cookies that are fragile and hit hard, and cookies that are that can take a lot of punishment. And next we have Mint Choco Cookie. So Mint Choco Cookie is one that I think is really interesting. He has an effect that on play, for 1 fire energy, you can increase the attack power of any other cookie you have in play by 1. So this is something you use on Espresso Cookie. This is something you use with Dinosaur Cookie. I'm pretty sure you can use it with Dinosaur Cookie's attack. Level 3 at only 3 hit points. You are entirely using his combo. If there ever comes a card that can return a cookie to your hand, that is totally a card to use it with. A level 3 1 hit point, Cherry Blossom Cookie. So I believe its effect is it can do 1 damage to both targets for just 2 energy, which is pretty good. Like I said, if you come up with ways to increase damage, I know there's specifically a card in this deck that increases the power of cookies with only 1 hit point remaining, and this character always has 1 hit point remaining, so it's able to use that right out of the gate. Alchemist Cookie, I believe also has an effect that allows it to, it also has an effect that allows it to swing wide, but it is more expensive. So it's very similar to Cherry Blossom Cookie, but it's the cost is 3 for the exact same effect. So this is a cookie that will hurt less when you lose it, but costs more to use. So this is another cookie you'd want for late game, or maybe to put down as an early resource. And of course we have Cookie Brave, generic level 1, 2 hit points, 1 generic to do 1 damage. So Cookie Brave splashes into anything. To my understanding, Cookie Brave is in all 3 of the decks. He's in like every color, so I'm not entirely sure how they're going to go by it. We have Zombie Cookie, another generic level 1, 3 hit points, so a tougher one. 2 energy to do 1 damage, so he is clearly there to be taking hits. Adventure Cookie. Okay, I think this is the only flip card we have with a different effect from Princess Cookie. Level 1, only 1 hit point, 1 fire to do 1 damage, but his flip effect is you draw a card. So he is a source of draw power. He's a card you really hope winds up in your stack. Next we have Pistachio Cookie, which is basically the same as, was it Peppercino? Peppercino Cookie? A Pepperoncino Cookie. And it's 3 fire to do 3 damage, but it also has that healing effect that we saw with Princess Cookie, where you discard a card from your hand and heal back the damage it took. The fact that it has half as many hit points as Pepperoncino Cookie, though, makes me not too enthusiastic to use Pistachio Cookie. And now we get to the item and trap cards. So items, traps, and locations. So items and traps, items work like your item cards in Pokemon. Traps work like instants, but they can only be played when an opponent attacks. And you also have stages. I think they're called stages. Yeah, they're called stages, which work like arena cards. So this is Sticky Jam. What this does is it costs 2 to play, so it's a little weird that they have the casting costs down here, but all of the cards have their casting costs here, so I don't think that's too strange. Like I said, this is modeled a bit more after Pokemon. I believe, does this one do 1 damage to an attacking target, I think? I remember what some of the other ones do. This one is, yeah, it targets an attacking cookie and gives them 1 damage. So this is, you know, a hard counter for things like a Cherry Blossom Cookie and all of them. And then we have, I believe I translated this as Hidden Cake Knife. So it is a card that has to target a level 2 or higher cookie with only 1 hit point remaining and increases their attack by 2. So like I said, this is one you combine with Sakura Cookie, Cherry Blossom Cookie, so that it always has, I'm using Japanese words in a Korean game, I'm sorry guys. But yeah, 2 to increase Cherry Blossom Cookie's damage by 2 to really bring the hurt. I believe this works with the special attacks as well as the regular ones. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. This is one that I gave a fun translation to. I believe I called it Sugar Dusted Snail Sweet. So it has the effect that it decreases, and if you have, I think this is the one that that decreases the attack by 2. Like I said, I'm having to look up the translations here. So I select 1 cookie with 1 remaining hit point. I believe that means it, I think it takes 2 less damage from all attacks next turn is what this does. I didn't really get a solid translation on how this one works. I think it decreases damage by 2 to for the rest of the turn for a cookie that has only 1 hit point remaining. This one, I believe, is Hot Jelly Mold. And this one is targets I believe for 1, it targets a cookie with only 1 hit point remaining and increases their damage by 1. So this is another one that works with Cherry Blossom Cookie. And then we have Super Sticky Dough Swamp. This one, I think, has the effect that you pay 1 to decrease the damage inflicted by an opponent's attack by 2 damage. So it reduces the damage of 1 attack. Then we have Star Candy Gone Bad. This one targets a cookie with only 1 hit point remaining and deals 1 damage to them. So this is, you know, just a basic bit of direct damage to get rid of something. And finally, our stage card. I'm a bit surprised that the Swamp isn't a stage card. Our stage card is Great Volcanic Jelly, I believe I translated that as. It's 2 to put it into play, and then it's 1 to activate the effect, which I believe increases the attack power by 1. There are a lot of cards like this in the deck. Like I said, you can tell pretty well what red is all about, or I guess it's fire, isn't it? It's all about boosting damage, it's all about direct damage, it's all about making risky plays while punishing your opponent's risky plays. So I'm debating on which cards I think are good. I think that, like, this is just a straight up better version of Zombie Cookie. It takes 2 energy to damage for 1. That must be fire, but it has a chance to boost that damage while having the same hit points. Like I said, Adventurer Cookie is good. It does not punish you much if you lose it in battle. Lets you draw cards. This deck is desperately lacking in draw power. That is, I think, the only thing that's not really in its favor. Is it doesn't have a lot of draw power, but then again, this deck is like aggro. It's all about boosting power. It's all about doing massive damage. And like I said, I would only need 1 more copy of this deck to go to full power. If I am lucky, then Dev Sisters will be cool and would actually let me use the Korean language cards to mix it in with my English cards, as long as I have the English cards as a translation. So my thoughts on the game itself, I know a lot of people talked about Lorcana and how they think it's the game that's, you know, it's a game that's designed to be easy to teach, to get new players to do that. This one, I think, actually walks the walk in that regard. It is also a very simple game. There's not a lot of numbers to keep track of. The cards track themselves. Using cards from your deck as life point counters is certainly an interesting take, but it allows them to both keep the game a bit slim, and they added in a flip mechanic as well, which you normally see in games like Duel Masters. So I think there's enough going on in this game's design that the systems that they've introduced all have some kind of solid backup. The level system, where cookies are worth 1, 2, or 3 points, means that it's a bit more of a life point wagering system. It means you have to use your powerful characters sparingly. So this is like a team-up card, practically, Espresso Cookie is. And considering that he can do 5 damage off of 1 attack is, with just a tiny bit of aid, like from the stage or something like that, is, you know, evidence of just how good a card he is. I think the rules are pretty simple to understand. There's only like 4 card types. All of them have very clear times for when they're played and how they interact. Like I said, I think this is the game that walks the walk when it comes to being a game that is easier for somebody to learn. We will have to see how it does in the United States. Now, I know Cookie Run is not as popular in the United States as it is in Korea, but I still think this is a much more beginner-friendly game than Lorcana. That's my opinion there. It's a game that I'm mildly excited for. I think I want to see what other cookies there are. Anybody who is a fan of Cookie Run is probably going to want to get into this game just to get the cards of their favorite cookies. Unfortunately, mine is Holly Berry Cookie, or Halle Berry Cookie. I wonder if the TV show ever gets finished, if they dub it into English, if they can get Halle Berry to voice Holly Berry. But since she's an ancient cookie, she'd probably be like a top rarity card, but she'd probably be red, if we're being honest. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Cookie Run Braverse. I actually think it's a well-designed game. If you're looking for something that's supposed to be easy to learn, this game, I think, walks the walk, where Lorcana simply talks the talk. So yeah, that is Cookie Run Braverse by Dev Sisters, and until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.